Happy New Year and welcome back to our channel. If you're new, I'm Katie.
I'm Steph. This is little Theo on Katie's lap.
You can see him.
And yes, that is our Christmas tree. And yes, we are holding on until we can't possibly keep it up any longer. So like maybe April.
Yeah, but it is the new year, and so we thought we would kick things off chatting a bit about our goals and resolutions for 2023. If you watched our last video, it was a bit of a wrap up on 2022, a bit of an honest wrap up.
We want that wrapped up tight.
Yeah, last year was a tough one for us, if we're being completely honest, and especially this past month has been really, really difficult. So we're happy to have the fresh start. We're happy that it's a new year. I really couldn't wait for the last one to be over. And yeah, we thought we would chat about what 2023 might have in store for us and just sort of what we're hoping will happen, what we're hoping to gain this year, what we're hoping to do, and all of that good New Year stuff. So yeah, let's jump in.
Yeah, so we don't necessarily set resolutions for the new year, but we have been setting a word, basically, or choosing a word. We've done that the last few years, and we want to keep that going.
Yeah.
So we figured we'd start there.
Yeah, we each like to have like a personal word for the year that kind of, helps to sort of guide us through the year as one sort of overarching thing that we can come back to. And what I always find interesting, we talked about this in the last video, is that it's not always like something that we achieve by the end of the year, but it usually ends up being like a lesson we needed to learn, or like something that teaches us. So I thought that was interesting with our words last year. Weren't necessarily things that we like, goals that we achieved, but definitely like lessons we really needed to learn. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with our words this year.
Yeah, my word for last year was self-care, and while I don't think I did a good job of taking care of myself throughout the year and really kind of setting that time for myself, I definitely realized the importance of how just like being intentional with that self-care is important to just have more energy and be more present in everything. So being really busy with work stuff, if I did a better job of self-care, then my work productivity would have benefited as well. So I'm taking that into this year, and I think that I'm going to do a better job of that.
Yeah, I think you did learn some good lessons about taking care of yourself, because Steph tends to just sort of tough things out and like push through and like be the strong one. And as we all know, that's just not possible all the time. You have to, go through what you're going through. And I think you definitely learned what that looks like for you and sort of how you process things and all of that, and how you can take care of yourself in the meantime. So very proud of you for that.
Thank you.
So yeah, why don't we start with you? What's your word for 2023?
Yeah, so my word for 2023 is intentional. I feel like what I want to do for this year is whatever I'm doing, whether it's work, play, relaxing, whatever it is, I want to be fully present in that moment and be intentional about it. So instead of just doing kind of everything all at once and not really fully being there for any of it, I want to do the exact opposite, maybe scale back a little bit with the time that I give to other people, to family, to things like that. But when I am there, I want it to be intentional and have that really high quality time.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's a good intention for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my word for last year, I talked about this a little in the last video, was balance. And I think it's something that I really needed to learn some lessons on, because last year was a very unbalanced year. But I learned a lot about why that was the case, why, I was craving balance, why I wasn't finding it, how I could have it in the future, hopefully, and all of that. And yeah, I think that was an important lesson for me to learn, and I learned a lot about myself last year. So I think that was definitely valuable. This year, I decided for 2023, my word for the year is going to be brave. And I think that this past year, and even just these past 3 years, which is crazy to think that the pandemic has now been 3 years. But I think, our life has changed so much, my life has changed so much, and I think that I've just really kind of gotten away from myself in a lot of ways. And I definitely ended last year just feeling really kind of defeated and discouraged and like scared to just keep doing things and making things. And I think I just need to find like my creative joy again as an artist and just not be afraid to do the next thing that I want to do, because that's definitely how I've been feeling. So in order to combat that, I just want to move into this new year feeling brave and feeling like I can take the risks and do things that I want to do, even if they feel scary, because that's definitely the opposite of what I feel like doing right now. So I know that that's what I need. And so I think that can kind of be like my guiding principle through the year that can help me sort of make decisions and take those risks. And when I'm feeling scared to do something, I can, come back to that and be like, nope, I set the intentions that I'm going to do it, even if I do feel scared. So yeah, that's what I'm going to take with me into this next year.
I like that. I like that for you. I think that you are brave in so many ways that you don't realize too. So having that be your word, I think will help you realize that there are so many moments that you're brave, even when you might not think you are.
Thank you. That's very nice. Something we talked about too in the last video is just being like allowing ourselves to be a bit more vulnerable and imperfect in the ways that we show up with our business and with our content and everything like that. And being brave, I think, is going to help me to do that as well, because I definitely feel the need to like be perfect and put together all the time, when obviously that's not possible. And this past year, I really struggled a lot. I struggled a lot with my mental health. I struggled a lot just in my personal life, and didn't feel like I could share it or talk about it. And then struggling on your own is just so much harder and so much worse. So something I want to be brave about is just sharing more of like our real life and more of the things we go through and the things we go through that are hard, because we have an amazing life, obviously, and we, have so much to be grateful for, and we're so privileged, but we still struggle like everyone. And we tend to feel like we can't share those struggles. And I think that's something that made this past year really difficult for us, was that we really just kind of like suffered in silence, and I don't want to do that again.
I think one of the biggest takeaways, even just from the end of last year, is that when we did share, to our friends and family, a lot of people understood because they had experienced something similar. And, once you tell someone something, they're like, oh yeah, me too. Yeah. I experienced that, or this is how I got through it, or I'm still working through it, or, I think we realized that like a lot of people are in a similar position in a lot of ways. And sometimes also when you see other people sharing about struggles, you get a little bit of insight into how they navigate through it, and that's really important to see. So it's not just necessarily about hearing that someone's struggling, but learning how people navigate it and how they get to the other side, is really quite inspiring.
Yeah. And I mean, that's part of the whole purpose of sharing our life online, is so that we can connect with people and we can all relate to one another, and we can all share our experiences and help each other and all of that. And so if we're holding back a big, part of ourselves, or holding back things that happen to us or things that we're going through, that's just kind of not the point. So we want to do a better job of sharing our full life, our full real life that's, messy and imperfect, and there's highs and lows and there's ups and downs and all of that, just like everyone. So I think that's something we're really going to focus on in the new year, is just allowing space for that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, and one of the other things we're both looking forward to is we will have a bit more time and flexibility on our hands, and so we have definitely missed traveling the way we used to before the pandemic. And so I think it is one of our goals and intentions to do more of that. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like because we haven't exactly planned everything out yet, but we're definitely floating around some ideas, and we've got some fun ones floating around. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to just get out and see more places again, and meet more people and do more things and go on adventures with both of you. Theo, you're invited.
Yeah, I think our main intention for this year is really to just like get back to our life and the life that we had pre-pandemic. Obviously, we can't go back in time, and so much is different now for everyone, for all of us. But these past 3 years have been so difficult for everyone, and I don't think we really realize just how much our life has changed and how much we've kind of like lost along the way.
Yeah.
And now, yeah, this year is just sort of full of possibility, and it feels like this might be the first year that we can really build our life back up, and like the life that we want to have that's not sort of being dictated by like what's going on in the world that's out of our control.
Right.
Obviously, you know, the pandemic is ongoing and it's not over, but it is different than it was. And we've been really conservative with travel and everything like that. And we've been just here living in Vancouver for 3 years now, which is something we really never intended to do. And I don't think we would have done if this hadn't all happened. And so now we're kind of looking at it being like, if we don't have to be here anymore, yeah, like what do we want? What do we want this year to look like? What do we want to do? And there are so many possibilities, and it's really just about, yeah, figuring out what we want, how we want to move forward. So we're still figuring it out, but we will keep you posted on our actual plans. But I think that, yeah, there's a lot of room for this year to be a good one for us, and just a year where we can kind of, yeah, come back to ourselves a bit, come back to our life, which is exciting because I don't think we've let ourselves think about just how hard it's been. I don't think anyone really has.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about how time has flown by, it also crawled by, everything is just a bit of a whirlwind, and yeah, I think a lot of people were just getting through it and just doing their best to get through it, and now with a little bit of distance, like you said, it's still ongoing, it's not over, but with a little bit of distance, I think we are able to kind of look back and just look at everything and look at how things have changed and look at how, you know, we want to move forward, and yeah, it's giving us a little bit of clarity, which I think is much needed.
Yeah, having that clarity I think is so important because we're really starting to see now what we've been like missing and what's been sort of lacking in our life over these past 3 years, and especially this past year because it was such a stressful one and there was so much going on, and we really kind of lost a lot of our life because of it. And so this year we just want to take the time and put the energy just like into our little family and into our marriage and our relationship again, because we just didn't have time for anything. And I think we both want to put just more time and energy personally into ourselves as well, like just all the things we haven't been able to do. And like you said, during the pandemic, all the things we've just been kind of like stuffing down and like just getting through it just because we had to. But now, hopefully, we all have the space to do more than like just get through. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a big year for us. I feel like we're kind of at a turning point in a lot of ways. So I think it'll be an interesting year. I'm excited and nervous to see like what comes of it, because
I'd love to skip ahead and see how it all works out, but I don't know, I think I'm feeling pretty optimistic about it.
Yeah, I am a little afraid though to feel optimistic. So I think we felt really optimistic at the beginning of 2022, and it was a really rough one, and you just never know what's coming around the bend. So we'll see. Cautiously,
we'll control the things we can control, and we'll try to just roll with the other things.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully you had a great new year and you are hitting the ground running this year.
Or
so
maybe you still have your Christmas decorations up like
I mean, you can do both. You can do both.
No, it's true. But yeah, however you started the new year, hope it's been good so far, and yeah.
Happy 2023.
Happy 2023. So weird to say, but yeah, here we are.
Let's go.
We hope it's a good one. And yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll have more videos coming soon. And maybe you can help us make some big life decisions while we're figuring out what we want to do and where we want to be and all of that good stuff. Make sure you are subscribed for future videos. We will be putting out probably 2 a week, as much as we can.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Okay. Bye.